Hey guys, Aaron Kuhn here with Accufoam Tech Service. I want to go over a really brief, kind of non-detailed summary of fluid dynamics. This is something I kind of learned. I was at a trade at the SPFA show actually a couple of years ago in Vegas, and I got to talking to the Accurate Dynamics guys. I think I was talking to Trey, and he was explaining some stuff, and then I went down a deep rabbit hole with it, and so I started studying it, so I kind of wanted to share it with you. So whenever we're talking about what we're doing, monitoring what material's doing and setting our pressures, we need to take in the effect that if a material had zero viscosity, you'd actually get a linear flow where all the material in the hose from wall to wall was running through the hose at the same rate. When you add viscosity, you get what's called a turbulent flow. That's where the material on the outer edges of the hose is basically setting stagnant, and the material that's actually moving through the hose is kind of going through dead center. When this happens, there's a force imposed on that process, which is called shear stress. The way we kind of control shear stress is through heat. So this is why it's so crucial to have our drums to temp, because when we can reduce shear stress on the material, it's going to feed the machines better, it's going to run down line better, and it's just going to cause for better mixing and better application. One other thing to think about is too, anytime that you choke a hose down to a smaller diameter, what you're doing is when it chokes down, it actually reduces pressure at these points and it speeds up. So you're actually losing PSI to your whip and other places where there's natural choke points. We're going to lose pressure, and through that process there's a effect called the Bernoulli effect, and it actually causes it to lose temperature as it's basically being choked down at these choke points. So that can actually cause your foam to process just a little on the cooler side, but the biggest thing is pressure drop. So when you're playing with your pressures on your guns and you're trying to set pressures, I always tell everybody I set my pressures according to how I'm spraying. If I'm in up close, filling a 2x6 wall side to side, I'm going to run lower pressure. If I'm standing way far back from a cavity, like 3-4 feet on a red iron building, I'm going to run my pressures up, because the biggest thing is when that foam leaves the tip of that gun to the surface, you want them to hit as a liquid and atomize properly. So reducing shear stress and setting your pressures according to how you're spraying is crucial. Thank y'all. Appreciate you.